We are Cindy and Eddie.
And this is Squeeze the Day.
Welcome back to another adventure on Route 66. Today we're going to be traveling from Kingman, Arizona to go visit the Petrified Forest.
This is our second drive-through sign.
Welcome to Kingman. They also have a really good visitor center, so make sure you stop by here.
We had a really good time in Kingman, Arizona. They are very much in favor of supporting Route 66, and you can see that throughout the entire town.
How cool is this train though?
If you're following the route, whether east to west or west to east, you're going to see plenty of hotels, motels, parks, restaurants, and even a couple different gift shops worth stopping at. They even have the world's longest map. Let's take a quick look at that.
The longest map, they say. It's the whole length of the hotel. Hi, Mr. Lizard.
We just love the creativity in Kingman. But it's time to get back out on the road.
We are on the road again, leaving Kingman. We loved it here. As you can see, it's starting to get smoky, so it's time to move on. Our next great destination along Route 66 is going to be Flagstaff. However, we're going to see what we can see along the way.
Don't lose your head. Just save a minute. You need your head. Your brain turning.
These are the long stretches of highway that you really got to be careful. It's straight. There's not a whole lot of entertainment on the side. Make sure when you're on Route 66 on this part of the road that you're paying special attention to how fatigued you are. Do not drive tired. Pull over, take a breather.
Just be aware of where you are pulling over, and before you know it, you're going to find yourself at another great place to stop on historic Route 66. If you're going to continue following Route 66 along the northern route that separates from Interstate 40 between Kingman and Seligman, you're going to go through a lot of small towns. Just make sure you do your research first. Seligman is a great place to stop and relax. Whether using hotels, motels, or enjoying the luxury of an RV, there are so many great places to stop and rest, so make sure you plan your trip accordingly. Also, while doing your research, keep in mind there are some small towns that are a little bit more difficult to find along Route 66, but still impressive.
The Ash Fork Route 66 Museum.
Ash Fork has a great museum, but we couldn't stay because it was too hot to keep the cat in the truck, so we moved on to Williams, where you're going to want to turn if you're interested in taking a detour to go up to the southern half of the Grand Canyon. This is also a very good town to visit if you're interested in doing any Route 66 stuff. They're very supportive of the Route 66 history. Next, we're going to drive through Flagstaff, Arizona, and this is a particular treat for both of us. Flagstaff not only supports a lot of RVers, campers, and anybody who wants to get away from the warmer weather of the summertime. Even though it's in Arizona, the weather here is fantastic. And they have skiing in the wintertime, but for the next portion of our drive, we're heading to Winslow, Arizona. And as you can see, it goes from mountain to a little bit more deserty, but this is a great place. Winslow is one of those little towns that's right off of Interstate 40 that you would miss if you weren't paying attention to where you're driving. This is also where we took a safety stop so we could rest for the night in order to be able to keep driving the rest of the day tomorrow safely. So enjoy the sunset. In the morning, this is how our day started off.
We found that when you're traveling along Route 66, sometimes you end up on these dirt roads.
Make sure while you're following Route 66, stick to the main roads. Avoid dirt roads like this.
Don't worry, you just need to turn around to get back on track.
There are so many great touristy things to see along the way. Sometimes you just gotta stop.
One thing that you'll find along the Route 66 highway is the Petrified Forest National Park. We're really excited to be here and checking it out.
You're coming with us.
This is the welcome sign that you'll see when you arrive at the entrance for the Petrified Forest. There's plenty of parking here. The visitor center opens at 8 o'clock.
Restrooms are easy access.
And very clean. They also have a water station where you can fill up water bottles.
They also have a museum here with gift shop. You can go and get a couple of things. And right now they're practicing social distancing.
This is what you'll find inside the visitor center. We've just stopped at the first stop along the way. I'm going to show you what it is.
How many of you knew that Petrified Forest National Park was more than just a bunch of old trees? They actually have a huge park that's filled with trails, valleys, great views, and a lot to do here.
Start of 2 trails here. There's a pathway you take to check out the trails. We're on our way down to that overlook point right there.
Enjoy the view.
You can bike around this park, very safe. And look, another water filling station here.
Couple important things to remember while you're here in this park. Make sure you're wearing sun protection. Yeah, it's a lot of sun and it's a desert. Plenty of water. But the most important thing to note about this particular park, these trails are pet friendly. That's right, Cinders is going for a walk with us.
The Painted Desert Inn was built in Pueblo Revival style in the early 12th century. This National Historic Landmark is now a museum with exhibits on its history and architecture. Unfortunately, it is not open to the public.
The building's closed, but we're going to take this walkway down here to the overlook. We've made it to this overlook. There's a sign to read.
This ground that we're on, it's blacktop. It is super hot. Make sure that if you have pets out here, you have foot protection on them or carry.
There's over 43,000 acres for you to enjoy here.
As we mentioned before, this park is pet friendly.
There's this huge area for parking with toilets, picnic tables, with coverings where you can have some lunch and hang out. Then on this side is where the overlook is.
We showed you a couple of the views that are available here. There are so many more. Make sure you stop in and enjoy them for yourselves.
Our next stop is the Highway of Dreams, the old historic Route 66, which just so happens to cross right through this forest.
How ingenious of them to drop this car here.
Now we are on the hunt for some trees that have been turned into stone. But there is so much more to see in this park too, so stay tuned as we keep looking.
This stop has a restroom facility you can use.
Not only is this a historic spot for Route 66, this is a historic spot for natives who lived here a long time before Route 66 was created.
Oh, look at that! A native cat in this building.
While Cinders was trying to figure out if she was part of the tour or not, we were enjoying the information that we could find inside this building, talking about the natives that used to live here so many years ago. And this is the old structures that they used to live in. Here we have some interesting markings on the stone. Indicates drawings that were actually placed here and are still available for us to see. There's actually quite a few of the drawings that are available. We'll show you some more as we continue through the park. We really enjoyed learning about the native people from this area, and we hope that you do too. This area gives you a really good view of what kind of layering there was in prehistoric times. Feel free to pause here so you can read a little bit more about it. And now for the part that we've all been waiting for. We're going to go look at some petrified trees.
There's a tree that's coming out of the mountain there. That's how the wood becomes petrified. It absorbs the minerals that are in the dirt and the rock.
Take a look at this tree. It's now a stone, but you can really see the rings inside of the tree itself and how it's now turned into stone. Personally, I think it's an amazing process and quite beautiful for the outcome.
This once prehistoric tree has since been turned into stone. This is the Badlands, and we're doing a mile loop walking around this area, checking out all the petrified trees that are out here, and there's a lot. If you do want to get yourself a piece of petrified forest, there are pieces that are for sale in the gift shop that they harvest in areas that are not designated national forests, so go ahead and get one of those.
The walk we took through the Badlands was pretty amazing. There really was a lot to see as far as petrified wood goes. Just make sure you take water with you and wear your sunscreen. And on the way we saw the stone, and so I had to go and do a little Lion King thing so all the world could see our cat. Into the Badlands we go. This place really is quite amazing. We didn't know how long it would take for us to be able to walk through this, so we kind of gave ourselves a little bit more time than we probably should have, because it took longer than we expected. This comes into play later on towards the end of the day when we start losing the sun and are not able to finish all the things that we wanted to see, like being able to go into the very last of the gift shops. When we talked to a couple of the park rangers, they suggested that if you wanted to do hiking, you would need at least a full day for a hike, and we weren't really sure how much hiking we would actually be doing. This 1 mile, because of the heat index and because of the carrying of the cat and just how much fun we had taking the pictures and walking around it, took a lot longer than we expected. Normally we could do a single mile on a walk within 10-15 minutes. This took us almost an hour, but it was really worth it. And right next to the area where the entrance to the walk was an overlook that you could look down into the area that we had just been walking in. So that was a lot of fun too. And there's still more to see. So we're going to get back out on the road and see the next stop, which is the Agate Bridge. Now, this is pretty impressive. It is a single stone tree that is actually lying across an area creating a bridge. How cool is that? Even though we knew it was getting late, we absolutely love views like this during the sunset time. So we had to stop and get a couple more. We were super looking forward to the Crystal Forest. It was one of the walks that we were most excited about, so we pushed it a little bit to make sure that we got here before the sunset and the park closed.
3/4 of a mile. There's supposed to be some really cool petrified rocks.
When you're walking around this area, you'll notice that there are so many petrified trees that you really can't count them, and not all of them are exposed. There's still a bunch of them that are underground.
Look how amazing that looks. Colorful, right? That's just gorgeous. Definitely something I think that everybody should see for themselves. It's quite something else. There's a lot of petrified wood out there.
We actually kind of got a little lost while we were walking around and enjoying this. It was absolutely amazing. If you do come out this way, make sure you spend some time here specifically, just enjoying the Petrified Forest.
Look at this. The pieces are just scattered everywhere.
I want to give you a little bit of clarification on why everything looks like that. This white part is clay. Darker part, that's pebbles, like little tiny rocks, bottom of the lake rocks. Now, we're not allowed to harvest anything out here. It's illegal and you don't want to get caught because there's a huge fine. But you can see how like the rocks are falling down as the clay is washed away between rainstorms. Logs are being exposed as the clay gets washed away.
Some of these are so well preserved you can literally see the bark on the tree. It's kind of amazing. The other thing is the different materials that gets absorbed into the tree creates a different kind of crystallization, different kind of stone. Look how big this one is. And then look at the crystallization in this one. It's like crystal and not stone. I'm going to be honest, I'm so amazed by this, I kind of don't really know what else to say.
As you can see behind us, the sun is setting, and that means it is time for us to go. It is about 5 o'clock right now, and that's when they close. So we've got to get back out on the road. This park is absolutely amazing.
Thanks so much for joining us on this video and for watching to the end. We really appreciate every one of you.
And we're going to continue on our Route 66 adventure. Make sure you stay tuned to see what the next video is going to be. Until then, have fun, stay safe, and squeeze the day.